I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume, so I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. We continue in the Doctrine and Covenants. We've been reading a bit about Joseph Smith's return to Kirtland. They went out to Missouri for a conference out there. They learned the location for the city of Zion. They dedicated the temple lot. The Colesville Saints have settled there. And then the elders came back. They saw the destroyer on the water. That was an interesting one. Joseph, Sidney, and Oliver have been told to return to Kirtland without preaching, except in the city of Cincinnati. Others are told to preach along the way, except for Sidney Gilbert and William W. Phelps. They're told to make haste and get to Kirtland as soon as possible. So, in their journeys, Joseph Smith, Sidney Rigdon, and Oliver Cowdery, they meet up with Sidney Gilbert and Phelps in St. Louis. And then they journey, their separate journeys, the two go by water and the three go by land. They arrive back in Kirtland on the 27th, and that is where we get section 63. The heading states thus: Revelation given through Joseph Smith the prophet at Kirtland, Ohio, late in August 1831. Recorded in History of the Church, Volume 1, pages 206 to 211. The prophets Sidney Rigdon and Oliver Cowdery had arrived in Kirtland on August 27th from their visit to Missouri. Prefacing his record of this revelation, the prophet wrote, In these infant days of the church, there was a great anxiety to obtain the word of the Lord upon every subject that in any way concerned our salvation. And as the land of Zion was now the most important temporal object in view, I inquired of the Lord for further information upon the gathering of the saints and the purchase of land and other matters. So they're back. It's in August. They got like 3-4 days left in August, so very late in August. Don't know exactly when, but I do want to say on this journey, he does make this comment. This is quoted straight from the History of the Church, that there was a lot of curiosity, a lot of anxiety to know the will of the Lord. They didn't want to go wrong. They didn't want to do the wrong thing. Even though the Lord, on a lot of ways, had told them, look, you do what you want. As long as you're obeying the commandments, you've got a lot of wiggle room here, a lot of freedom. But they're still anxious. They don't want to go wrong. Joseph Smith's very much with them on that. This isn't somebody else asking Joseph Smith to inquire of the Lord. This is Joseph Smith himself saying, okay, we got some information, we need more. But just before he writes this preface to this revelation, he says, on the journey back to Kirtland, many things happened to strengthen the faith of the elders. He doesn't go into any detail, but he does say that through this strengthening of faith, they were more able to see clearly the working of Satan among the people, preventing them from seeing and embracing the light of the gospel. And I find that interesting. Through their faith, they could see the workings of Satan. But then he goes into this. They're very anxious about the building up of Zion. So now we get this section 63. It's a bit of a long one, so I'm going to read the first 31 verses in this reading, and then we will read the rest of it in our next reading. So section 63. Hearken, O ye people, and open your hearts, and give ear from afar. And listen, you that call yourselves the people of the Lord, and hear the word of the Lord, and his will concerning you. Yea, verily I say, hear the word of him whose anger is kindled against the wicked and rebellious, who willeth to take even them whom he will take, and preserveth in life them whom he will preserve, who buildeth up his own will and pleasure, and destroyeth when he pleases, and is able to cast the soul down to hell. Behold, I, the Lord, utter my voice, and it shall be obeyed. Wherefore, verily I say, let the wicked take heed, and let the rebellious fear and tremble, and let the unbelieving hold their lips. For the day of wrath shall come upon them as a whirlwind, and all flesh shall know that I am God. And he that seeketh signs shall see signs, but not unto salvation. Verily I say unto you, there are those among you who seek signs, and there have been such even from the beginning. But behold, faith cometh not by signs, but signs follow those that believe. Yea, signs come by faith, not by the will of men, nor as they please, but by the will of God. Yea, signs come by faith unto mighty works, for without faith no man pleaseth God. and with whom God is angry, he is not well pleased. Wherefore unto such he showeth no signs, only in wrath unto their condemnation. Wherefore I, the Lord, am not pleased with those among you who have sought after signs and wonders for faith, and not for the good of men unto my glory. Nevertheless, I give commandments, and many have turned away from my commandments, and have not kept them. There were among you adulterers and adulteresses, some of whom have turned away from you, and others remain with you, that hereafter shall be revealed. Let such beware and repent speedily, lest judgment shall come upon them as a snare, and their folly shall be made manifest, and their works shall follow them in the eyes of the people. And verily I say unto you, as I have said before, he that looketh on a woman to lust after her, or if any shall commit adultery in their hearts, they shall not have the Spirit, but shall deny the faith, and shall fear. Wherefore I, the Lord, have said that the fearful, and the unbelieving, and all liars, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie, and the whoremonger, and the sorcerer, shall have their part in that lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Verily I say that they shall not have part in the first resurrection. We pause a moment. This is an interesting one. I like this. They're asking about the building up of Zion and the buying of lands and all that. And what is God's first thing? I am angry at the rebellious and the wicked. And there are some among you who are wicked, who are rebellious, and they need to be dealt with. And he's basically telling them, you aren't yet ready for Zion. There is too much wickedness among the people for there to be Zion. To truly have Zion, we must get rid of all this evil, which is why few people have ever achieved a Zion society on earth. This part, the whoremongers, sorcerers, he that loveth and maketh a lie, that is all quoting from Revelation. Well, of course, to looketh on a woman to lust after her, that's part of the Sermon on the Mount, I do believe. So he's quoting from the New Testament, say this is why, he's quoting the New Testament, say I said this before and this is why. Because these people, even if they haven't acted, their desires are for wickedness. Therefore they cannot be my people. Basically saying that he had it written in the New Testament as a warning for us. Let us continue now, though, verse 19. And now behold, I, the Lord, say unto you that ye are not justified, because these things are among you. Nevertheless, he that endureth in faith and doeth my will, the same shall overcome, and shall receive an inheritance upon the earth, when the day of transfiguration shall come. When the earth shall be transfigured, even according to the pattern which was shown unto mine apostles upon the mount, of which account the fullness ye have not yet received. And now verily I say unto you, that as I said that I would make known my will unto you, behold, I will make it known unto you. Not by way of commandment, for there are many who observe not to keep my commandments. But unto him that keepeth my commandments I will give the mysteries of the kingdom. And the same shall be in him a well of living water, springing up unto everlasting life. And now behold, this is the will of the Lord your God concerning his saints, that they should assemble themselves together unto the land of Zion, not in haste, lest there should be confusion, which bringeth pestilence. Behold the land of Zion, I the Lord, hold it in mine own hands. Nevertheless, I the Lord render unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's. Wherefore I the Lord will that you should purchase the lands, that you may have advantage of the world, that you may have claim on the world, that they may not be stirred up unto anger. For Satan putteth it into their hearts to anger against you, and to the shedding of blood. Wherefore the land of Zion shall not be obtained, but by purchase or by blood. Otherwise there is none inheritance for you. And if by purchase, behold, you are blessed. And if by blood, as you are forbidden to shed blood, lo, your enemies are upon you. And ye shall be scourged from city to city, and from synagogue to synagogue, and but few shall stand to receive an inheritance. Just want to say that when I first did this reading, I completely forgot to read these last two verses. I ended it at 29 for some inexplicable reason. That's why there's the difference in the video. So, the day of transfiguration is going to be the second coming. This is when the earth is renewed, and that means transfigured. It is transfigured so that it can be in the presence of God, because Christ will be living on the earth, and he is a glorified being, so it needs to be transfigured to be in his presence. This was all explained and shown to Peter, James, and John on the Mount Transfiguration, which we today have not yet received. We have not got the full account of what happened on the Mount Transfiguration. Then we have the building up of Zion. How do we build Zion? We buy the land. We got to do things according to the law. Because if we do what's right, if we do it according to the law, and others come in to hinder and fight against it, then it is on them. We are justified, they are condemned. But if we act against the law, then we stand condemned. When it comes to acquiring land, you can do it in 3 ways. If nobody owns it, you can settle it. But if somebody owns it, you can either buy it from them, or you can take it by force, by the shedding of blood. And this is not here saying, of course, it's obvious, God is not commanding the saints to take the land of Zion through the shedding of blood. He is saying, you got to do this the right way, buy the land. If you do it the right way, you are blessed. If you don't, you will be driven. You will be turned over to your enemies, you will be scattered, you will be destroyed, and only the faithful will be left. We can defend ourselves. The saints are given the saints have the natural right of self-defense. But they cannot try and take the land by force, or they will be condemned by God, and they will be rejected by God. I'm going to leave this here. We will finish out section 63 in the next reading, so I will see you there.